So here's where I am on the front seat. It's proving to seem to be a little more complicated than the rear seat. So you can see how I've got basically these plywood parts, which will essentially be storage, the bottom of the storage under the seat. And so what I've just finished is cutting these two ends and then the plywood there to match roughly the angle that I need, because my plan is to have the ceilings come down. The ceilings will be in place, and then the seat will go down, will be installed after the ceilings are in place. So I'll show that here in a minute. I'll put it in the boat. I don't have the ceilings in yet, but I'll show you what it looks like in the boat. And then I had to sand these support pieces because of it was contacting that. And I'll show what I did is the reason these are sloped is because of the floor timber and the frames. Actually, because of the way the frame piece goes up on the side. I'll show that here real quick. So the seat, the seat kind of sits right across here, and because of this angle going up of that frame member, I essentially have the plywood bottom follow that contour, and I had to have it followed all the way up. And so I that's why there are slots. That's why these slots right here are cut out, and on this side, and then that side right there. And then these notches are cut out for the motor stringers, because that goes down over the motor stringers, and I cut these notches out for the bolts going through the motor stringers. And you can see these nicks. It's a little bit, doesn't look the best. And a trick to avoid that, which I always forget until it's too late, is at least with a jigsaw, when you're cutting it pulls up when it cuts. And so I need to remember to flip the board over and cut it on the back side, which I try to do, but obviously I didn't do here, and it pulls up those parts. So, but I remembered to do it along this edge, and look how nice and clean that is. So anyway, I'll show you what it looks like in the boat in a second. Before I show what it looks like in the boat, I thought I'd flip it over and just show how I did the underside, just to have support pieces cut, and I had to notch them around these middle support parts that hold the weight of the seat in the middle. So that's how I did it. They're roughly 1 inch pieces there. So that's how I did the bottom. So here's what it looks like in the boat. And so you can see how I've notched around those notches I talked about for the gussets. And you can see how the notches are on the motor stringer clips. And you can see that and so I've got those 3 supports where I will put hinges like I talked about before, like I did in the rear seat. And over here on the sides, I've got these angles cut to leave a gap, because the ceilings, well, my plan is to have the ceilings installed, and then the seat will be installed after the ceilings, and I'll notch around the gussets and frames like I did back here. So, and then I've got, you can see a little notch for those nuts and bolts for the motor stringer clips. And so you can see I've got the storage, which will be nice to have up here. And then here's what it looks like from the front. And then my plan is to have these outer edges just rest right down on those battens on either side out there, and that will provide the support on the outer edge.